voice. But still pretty cool. Real time. But here's what's really amazing. When you start playing with this app, think of all the things you can do. You can say, search by name, first of all. And you can do it by speech. So I can talk to my phone and I can say, Moscone Center. And think about what's happening when you do that. I mean, it's so easy to kind of take it for granted. You know, this magic, this absolute magic that lets us say Moscone Center, and it gets translated somewhere out there in the cloud to a street address, which then gets passed to my phone, which knows where I am, figures out how to get from where I am now to where I want to go. And then, by the way, if you want to, you can search along the route between here and there and say, oh, I need to stop for gas, show me the gas stations. Or I need to stop for pizza, show me where the pizza is, or whatever. I can also get a satellite view if I happen to want it on my phone. And then I show up at my destination, and for Christ's sake, you know, we have a picture, you know, showing what the street looks like, and the turn ought to be. And you think about, once again, all these cooperating data services from the cloud being delivered into an application like that on the phone, right? So once again, you know, when you hear the term cloud computing, just remember that it doesn't quite mean what you think it means. So I started talking in 2002 about the idea that we were really building an internet operating system. I think I was a little bit ahead of my time. In fact, when we launched the Web 2.0 conference in 2004, and that name really did take off, although I was still using it for the same ideas. Bram Cohen of BitTorrent actually gave a talk at the first web conference making fun of my idea that the internet was an operating system, because he said, of course, it doesn't have this feature, it doesn't have that feature. But when you start to look at these mobile apps, drawing on the internet back end, you start to realize, yeah, we are building an internet operating system. And it's a data operating system. You know, it helps applications find out about people, places, things, prices, documents, images, you know, sounds, relationships, and it helps interact with all these databases via services like search or payment, right? And so when we think about all this, and of course it does that in real time. Now I want to take a moment to focus a little bit on this real-time aspect. Jeff Jonas, who's a guy who works for IBM now, but started originally a security company detecting fraud in Las Vegas, which he sold to IBM. Really great thinker about big data and its implications. But he recently did a blog post which got turned into actually a television commercial by IBM. And it's about the importance of real time. And the image he used is this one. And it's one we want to think about. He said, how would you like to cross the street if the best you had was a picture of what traffic looked like a minute ago? Right? And you know, again, this is a key component of the world we live in. These services have got to be real time or close to it. Right? It doesn't help if you're already past that turn by the time your phone says turn right. It's got to be real time. And of course, that drives an enormous need for massive infrastructure, massive scalability. And that's a big part of that cloud story too. And that will lead to fundamental changes in the architecture of the web. So when you think about the 21st century data challenge, it's not about transactions, although transactions are certainly important. It's not data warehouses, business intelligence. It's not database-backed websites. Not even this cool new NoSQL stuff you're seeing. It's real-time, cloud-based intelligence delivered to mobile applications. And in particular, that kind of intelligence is algorithmic. It's computers figuring out, using machine learning, what it is that you need to know. Right? And this is the world that Drupal needs to support and be a part of. So when you're thinking about the design of your future apps, you have to think about this mobile, real-time world driven by massive amounts of data. Now, there are a lot of talks here at DrupalCon which are in this area, and I urge you to go to them if they're not already passed. So that one is very sorry about that. But regardless, I think there are a lot of resources. But think about it. This one was hosting Drupal on Amazon Web Services. This is one actually about how to build an aggregation search engine. I just thought that was a really kind of an interesting idea because, again, it's how do you consume multiple data feeds in order to build an interesting app? Facebook, important, the people platform of the web. How do you consume that in a Drupal app? A couple of talks on iPhone and Drupal, or Android using Drupal. So there's a good start on this. Again, just quick perusal of the program. I see people in the Drupal community working on these ideas, thinking about them. It's a good start. But I want to ask you if it's enough. And the reason why I'm asking this is because the question that I've really worried about for many, many years is if we're building an internet operating system, who's going to own it? Who's going to own it? Because we have a history in our industry, not just of open source and operating systems like Linux, but of operating systems like